I just thought I'd type in Ricky Wilson, find out who you were, and type that in the old YouTube or whatever it is, Google, and have you been slagging off Oasis?
Not at all, no.
Oh, I thought you'd been slagging them off.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can't help yourself sometimes. Well, you know, sometimes someone asks you a question, and sometimes they say, oh, this person said this about you, and you kind of, I don't know, maybe it's just something that happens where you just say something back, and it's turned into a kind of like tennis match, which I never signed up for. And it's quite enjoyable reading some of the funny things they say.
You've got to be quite careful.
Well, it wasn't started by me. It was started in a newspaper about something I apparently said on a boozy night out, which I can't even remember saying. I say a lot of swear words when I'm drunk, you know what I mean?
Sure. So you swore about the Gallaghers because you don't want to mess with those boys. You don't seem like a tough guy.
And then I was going to insert a swear word.
Right.
Maybe the S word.
Oh, one of the worst.
Yeah. It's in the top 500.
It certainly is.
You know, I mean, I don't know. I died because the weird thing is, when I was like 17, they were my favourite band. So kind of weird that now we're not just on their radar, but you know, in their sights. Oh.
And yeah, as I say though, you want to be careful because those boys do not take any prisoners. I mean, Liam, if you saw you in a club...
I mean, they're very good at it, and they've had, you know, a lot of practice, and they are possibly the best slaggers offers in the in the world.
But I imagine the next time you're down Bougie and they're in there as well, oh, it's going to kick off.
Into Bougie, whatever that is.
I've read about it, and I've heard it.
Bougie. They hang out in Muji.
But you know, Liam now, he's very much the family man. It's quite likely that he could be in Muji buying some Japanese-themed curtains.
Buying some recycled pencils.
Exactly, and the two of you get into a fracas.
Over the last pair of flip-flops.
That would be extraordinary.
Yeah.
Now listen, now I also want to ask you briefly, because you are you now involved with the Ian thing that's happening?
I'm involved with everything. You know, I don't know. What is it? I say yes to things I think sound good, I say no to things that make me feel uncomfortable. Obviously, it didn't make me feel uncomfortable.
Now, isn't there some kind of artists' music coalition, I think Radiohead is spearheading?
Oh, it's about rights, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm all for rights.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Let's not get too serious.
No.
It's weird, because it's a fine line between... Because I don't like it when, you know, musicians bang on about how they don't get paid enough, because, you know, you've got a pretty good job. I'd do it for free. But I don't. But, you know, it's like, you know, there's ups and downs. You know, I just think that, you know, I'm in a position now where I'm not really that fussed. I've got enough.
Listen, you've got a platform which you should take incredibly seriously. There's a lot of young people out there who look up to you, Ricky.
I know, that's a good point. All right, then, yeah. Yeah, I think that musicians are people too.
Do you ever go on the internet and look yourself up and see what people are saying about you, other than the Gallaghers?
Only to double check things, because I hear people telling me stuff in the street, saying you shouldn't say that about, you know, this person or that, and I go, well, I can't remember saying anything, so I go and have a look, and then the worst thing is, I was thinking this, the worst thing I hate is when you read something in quotation marks, which you have said in quotation marks, and it doesn't even sound like you.
Yeah.
Using phrases I would never use.
Yeah. Well, I'm apparently, according to the internet, in the new Brideshead Revisited film.
Wow, well done.
Yeah. Well, no, thanks very much, except I'm not.
You don't even have to do the work, you still get paid?
Well, what was brilliant was it was reported that Steve Merchant's in the new Brideshead Revisited. Then I saw somewhere else it said, Steve Merchant cut out of new Brideshead Revisited film.
So, it's hired and fired without even knowing.
Exactly, without ever being involved.
So one thing I found out yesterday, because Whitey told me about it, I haven't seen it because I don't like looking at these things. It was concerning Oasis. And there was a headline in one of the papers that was derogatory about something we'd said that made it seem like we were slagging off Oasis. And then, if you read the article, it never appears in the article, this quote.
Oh, that's...
It was literally just a headline to grab your attention, and then was nothing to do with the article at all.
Oh, so mean-spirited. Listen, I think maybe you should, perhaps shout out later during the concert, I mean, no doubt you'll be making some kind of vote Barack Obama shout, as any rock musician probably is at the moment, and probably something about ending the war.
Yeah, I'm going to use my vote. It's going to be a postal one.
But you should also sort of maybe slam the media. I think
Well,
people
no, we
are
did that on the
love it.
second album. We just looked like a bunch of old grumpy men, so I can't be bothered anymore.
Yeah.
It happens. Tell you what, they sell us a lot of records, these media types.
That's good. Yeah, God bless the sun.
Yeah, God bless them all.
Listen, we are looking forward to your show next week. Well, I'm not. I won't be listening to it, but all my fans are.
Pagan, where I respect the sun.
And Ricky, what sort of stuff can we expect from your show? Is it going to be a lot of great music and chat?
It's going to be a lot of great music and chat. That's the general radio vibe. Are we allowed to do a competition?
I'm not sure you are anymore. I thought the BBC have banned all competitions because they are all criminals.
Okay, well, we'll try and get one in slightly. Okay. I had an idea about roaming the streets, trying to find people to interview.
Great idea.
Because I know it's kind of very, that area. Whenever I'm in that area, I see famous people. And I thought, rather than booking guests, I'm going to be like a roving guest hunter.
Yeah, you will end up with a homeless man.
Yeah, but maybe that'll be interesting, an insight. Maybe we'll let him move in.
Listen, Ricky, we are, as I say, I'm very thankful that you're standing in next week. I appreciate it. Are you doing it on your own?
No. I want to give a big shout out to my friend Nick, who's the drummer in the Kaiser Chiefs, who will be joining me. I don't know if we're going to take roles like DJ and producer, or I think it's going to be more like just a bit more J.K. and Joel.
Great. Well, we're all looking forward to that enormously. Listen, we're going to play the.
I regret saying that now.
I know.
I don't think
tell.
it's going to be like J.K. and Joel at all.
You're going to end up in a feud with J.K. and Joel. You don't want that. Those guys.
Well, they're on different radio stations.
They're bladed up though. So be careful. We're going to play your current single. Huey played it about 10 minutes ago, so I apologise if people are sick of it, but that's the nature of the big tunes. People get
No,
tired
think
of
about
them.
the radio. You never get sick. You just hypnotise people into liking it.
Well, maybe so.
I listen to radio so much that I end up liking songs I absolutely hate.
Yes, I came in whistling Katy Perry.
I couldn't sleep the other night from singing that in my sleep.
Listen, thank you, Ricky, so much. It was great to chat to you. Have a great show tonight.
I'll try. Big shout out to REM if you're listening. Can't wait, buddies.
And if you're a fan of Ricky, if Ricky's charmed you during the course of this chat, then tune in next week. Thank you, Ricky.
Thank you very much, Stephen
Bye,
Merchant.
mate. Bye. As Ricky said, the new Kaiser Chiefs album will be released on 20th of October, and it is called Off With Their Heads. And after Ricky Wilson and friends sit in next week, after that we have Keris Matthews, the week after that, and, get this, the week after that, Mr. Jarvis Cocker. That has got to be worth tuning in for if you've got nothing else to do that afternoon.
BBC 6.
With Regina Spektor on backing vocals, that's our current single from Ben Folds, You Don't Know Me. Steve Show 6 Music. With me, Steve Merchant, and my little cronies here, tiny being the operative word when it refers to Dan, and careful, let me turn you up, and Sammy, who is allowed to be smaller than me because she is a lady. Ricky Wilson was talking about the Gallagher brothers, and as I said, I've been stateside. I've been doing some fairly glamorous shizzle over there, okay, that I want to go into details, but obviously I like to keep abreast of new music, and I was reading a lot of the music press over there, and I'm sure people have already referred to this, but I know you've been away, Dan, as well, and weren't you stateside as well, Sammy?
I certainly was, yeah.
So you may not have seen this terrific interview with Liam Gallagher in Q magazine. Now obviously I'm going to have to clean up some of these quotes, but I was weeping with laughter. I was sat outside by the pool in the Californian sunshine, and some of these answers, I can't do an impression sadly of Liam, but I think even just reading them in my West Country accent, just imagine Gallagher saying some of these things. So this is from Q magazine. The question was, Liam, you take fatherhood extremely seriously. For example, in 2005 you were eating a lot of sardines because you wanted to live until you were 120 to be with your kids. And his answer is, yeah, I'm still banging away at the fish, man. Not the sardines so much. I've gone up in the world, alright? The royalty checks have started rolling in again. I'm on the salmon big time. Fish, man. And then Q says, what are your top 3 fish? Salmon, number 1. Sea bass, 2. Sardines, 3rd. And then they say, Yoko's coming over. What's your signature salmon dish? Effin' salmon and stir fry. Preheat your oven for 10 minutes. Effin' load of soy sauce. Steamed. Get your tin foil, put your salmon in it. Wrap it up with fold in the end, right? Put a bit of water and lemon in it. Put it in the oven at 190. 15 minutes, take it out. Bit of stir fry. Loads of soy sauce. Effin' top dish. No mess. In the wok. Effin' sweet.
It turned into Gordon Ramsay.
I know, but I love the way he has a recipe to hand. But he obviously, Then I was really cracking up at this, where Q says, you'd like to gauge how you've changed over the years. Here's a scenario from your past. What would you do differently? You once got banned from Cathay Pacific Airlines after getting into a fracas with the cabin staff over a scone during a flight in Australia in 1998. He just says, effing right, and I'd do it again. I paid for the effing seats. Everyone else got a scone. Why was I singled out? I had 20 seats on that effing flight. All the roadies got one, but little me didn't get any. It's not fair. I wanted an effing scone, and I stuck up for myself. Which I think's fair enough, if you want a scone. But this is, of course, I think this was pulled out and used in a lot of newspaper reports, because this is joyful. There's your favourite TV programme, Liam. SpongeBob SquarePants. You see him as a kindred spirit, don't you? And Liam says, he's a effing mental, full of beans, enthusiastic sponge that lives at the bottom of the sea in Bikini Bottom. And he's mad for it. He's got a mate called Squidward who plays the clarinet and is a grumpy C-word like our kid. I believe my manager Marcus Russell is the reincarnation of SpongeBob SquarePants. I'm having a huge painting done at the minute, a proper Andy Warhol style portrait of SpongeBob. He'll be facing Elvis and Hendrix in the living room. I mean, you've got to bless him. I mean, he's truly one of the great minds of his generation.
For sure.
Before we move on and discuss our various travels, Dan, have you got a musical choice?
I have got a musical choice, yes, and it's lovely to be back to share my record collection with you. And this was one, I'm sure there's 6 music listeners everywhere who'll be saying, The Monks. I know all about The Monks, but it totally passed me by, and I was kind of turned onto it by one of these, you know, you get these music file sharing things, and if you listen to something, it's all completely legal. iTunes do it now with Genius, and they make suggestions that are, you know, if you like this, maybe you'll like this.
Okay.
And I discovered it that way, The Monks, and they're a crazy band from like 40 years ago, ex-American GIs who formed a sort of a garage punk band at the time, and massive influence on The Fall, who were one of my favourite bands. And I chose this because it was great, I loved it, and it's also got a sort of an anthemic Dan is back quality
Great.
that I know Dan fans everywhere will love.
Nothing to be ashamed of there, Dan.
Thanks.
It's a good tune.
Oh, that's unusual, actually. Yeah, it's maybe a thawing of Dan-Steve relations right
Exactly.
here, live on air. That's exciting.
What was it?
It was Shut Up by The Monks, from an album. I think they only ever did one proper album, which was called Monk Time, from about 40,
Monk Time.
40 odd years ago. And it's all like that. They're really short songs, and they're all ever so slightly unhinged, but not completely mental, just a little bit. And it's not quite like anything else.
Thank you very much indeed for introducing me to it. That's what the show is all about. A lot of the blogs, I imagine, are ablaze with the simple question, Steve, where are you going to be for the next month? Why are all these big shots standing in for you? Well, as you may or may not know, I shall be heading to Vancouver, Canada, where I will be filming my appearance in the forthcoming family movie, The Tooth Fairy. Stop laughing. Starring Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I don't know why you're smirking. Why? Sammy seems to be almost weeping in hysterics. I would imagine that is because you're deeply jealous and you know how much you would love to work with The Rock.
It's because I've just realised you probably have to wear tights.
I'm not going to give away anything about the costume at this stage because I'm sure that at some point they're going to release those pictures so that they can put it, you know, there's always like a sexy picture on the cover of the tabloids. I suspect at some point they're going to release that picture. I'll say that it may be tights, it may not be tights. They're certainly tight. And I'm not going to lie to you, I do not wear them as well as Dwayne.
So The Rock is in tights?
The Rock is in, I don't want to give anything too much away, but he's in certainly tight clothing.